St Bridget's Hospital, Ballinasloe, previously known as firstly the Connacht District Lunatic Asylum and later as Ballinasloe District Asylum, opened in Ballinasloe, County Galway in 1833 and was one of the earliest Irish district asylums. It was intended for the care of curable lunatics and opened in a spirit of optimism with regard to its progressive role in public health. Its history, however, is one of continual struggle to prevent the admission of unsuitable cases, to secure additional funding, and to offer reasonable standards of care under difficult conditions. In common with the majority of other district asylums, the CDLA was commonly overcrowded, housing in November 1900, for example, 1,165 patients in accommodation designed to hold 840. Its evolving role in Irish society throughout the 19th century then throws some interesting light on public perceptions of the insane, the authorities of medical profession, and changing social norms. The 19th century may fairly be described as a century of the asylum, with a worldwide growth in the institutional care of the insane. Within this large picture, the Irish case is especially interesting. Ireland was one of the earliest states to embrace the asylum system, and by the end of the 19th century had experienced one of the most rapid proportionate growths in asylum admission in the world, when one considers that Ireland's population actually declined sharply from mid-century. This growth is all the more startling. The initial building was constructed in 1833 by William Murray as a first-class asylum which would accommodate 150 patients. However, it was later extended by James F. Kempster in order to meet growing demand. Both designers held different values, which can be seen in the window surrounds, with Kempster opting for red brick around some windows, whereas Murray stayed with limestone throughout. Limestone would have been readily available around in this area around that time. The hospital was almost entirely self-sufficient at its peak, with the hospital owning most of the surrounding land, which the patients farmed. In more recent times, the patients took part in a workshop and a garden centre, which is still on site. With growing numbers, the original church was not sufficient. This was replaced with a more modern building. This building looks out of place in its surroundings. The windows are adopted and changed in later years to aluminium windows. This moved away from the original design.
So you can see here, when this building was built originally, it would have had windows with 12 panels, casement windows made of timber. Now they've been replaced with aluminium windows, white aluminium windows, and obviously that is keeping with the heritage of the building. So if we were to bring this back to the way it should be, back to its past life, we'd have to take out these windows and replace them with timber casement windows, as you've seen on some of the other buildings. Okay, to take these out, you'd have to break off the reveals inside to take the window back into the building, unlike the way you do it in other newer buildings, because we do not want to damage the limestone surround that you can see here.
For the most part, this building is of stone construction. It is a cut stone exterior which was typical of the time. It is made of limestone, which comes as no surprise considering Ballinasloe is located in a limestone region. A lime-based render covers sections of the extension, which shows Kempster's preferences. The original windows were white 12-panel casement windows, which were made of teak. Unfortunately, this was not conserved, and now many of the windows are unsightly aluminium frames. Much of the roof structure is flat and so needs constant maintenance. As you can see, the roof has deteriorated badly since the building was vacated in 2013.
Here's an example of one of the
recent years, since its closure, the hospital has fallen to ruin. The roofs are in bad need of repair. It is essential that these are repaired to prevent the building from deteriorating further. Where applicable, the windows should be repaired. However, the majority of the windows in this building need to be totally replaced. The glass from the old windows should be used in the construction of the new ones where possible. Some areas of the external stonework need to be repointed, and also new stones need to be cut in the worst regions.
So as you can see, these windows here, they're rotten well beyond repair. So in order to replace these, we'd have to break out the stone, the plaster in and around the outside of the windows here, take the window inside. We can't take it out of the way because we'd be breaking out the stone on the outside of the window. Here's an example of a roof. See here, that has been repaired a number of years ago. Obviously it has been restored correctly, as originally all these roofs were done with a natural slate finish. To repair this, we would have to find some of the original natural slate and roof it altogether, get rid of all this aluminium. Also, the internal structure, as you can see, unfortunately, is not repaired correctly either. Here's an example of a roof which hasn't yet been restored. You can see that the natural slate is still intact, but as you can see, some of the roof is missing and a lot of it is badly rotten. To repair this correctly, what we would have to do is remove all the slates, saving the best ones we put on the front section here of the building, and replace the slates on the back. We want to keep this side as close to the original structure as possible, so we're going to keep all the slates on this side. The reason for putting them on the other side is because they will not be seen.